Do you know that you are vibrational beings? Do you understand, or are you beginning to understand the power of your thought? Do you know that the thoughts that you think are carving out passageways? That you are literally making paths toward future manifestations? But the path that you are on right now, while you're feeling whatever emotion you're feeling while you're on this path, is letting you know what the manifestation is going to feel like when you reach it. We've enjoyed this interaction immensely. Well, that really is what the creative process is, because as you stand in your now, whatever you are giving your attention to is causing you to offer a vibration. And while most humans do not understand the power of those vibrational offerings, we are wanting you to know that the vibrations that you are offering as a result of the thoughts that you are thinking right now, whether it's remembering something or focusing on something in your now or imagining it, the thought that you have generated with the power of your focus is causing a vibrational movement that is, we're not kidding you at all, carving out a path, a pathway. We call it the path of least resistance. You carve it out by your attention to it. So when you give your attention to something for as little as 17 seconds, there's not much momentum in that thought, not much carving out of that pathway. But once you cross the 17-second mark, now that thought is joined with other thoughts. You could say the momentum increases. And now the thought is more powerful, and the carving out the pathway is more powerful. Maintain that for another 17 seconds, and still more momentum and more powerful carving out of a pathway that is leading you to a potential manifestation. Cross the 68-second mark, which is just 4 times 17. What happens is there is now enough momentum going that you are pretty much committed for now to that train of thought. So what happens is, well, let's start here. A belief is just a practiced thought. A belief is just a thought that you think often. So the beliefs that you hold have carved out pathways that make evidence of those beliefs come to you. Most humans say, oh, wait a minute, Abraham, you have it backwards because I saw it and that's why I believed it. And we say, we know it seems like that because there are plenty of things for you to observe. And when you begin to catalog them and pigeonhole them, you come to believing in them. But you are the creator of these pathways. And these pathways are the pathways. That was very clever. To the future manifestations. So there are a lot of things that happen with our physical friends. First, you kind of want there to be the manifestation. That's really what you think you're in it for. But as we play with you longer, it is our desire to convince you that while the manifestations are lovely and we want you to have all of them that you desire, it's the constantly being on a path that we want to draw your attention to. Because when you get some momentum going about something unwanted and you don't know what to do because the momentum has you, you say to us, it doesn't feel to me like I'm thinking those thoughts. It feels like those thoughts are thinking me. That's what momentum is. That's what beliefs are. We want you to realize that you have open pathways to things wanted and not wanted. And we would like to help you to gain creative control of your pathways. We would like you to become a deliberate thinker. But in order to do that, you have to understand how the process works. And so we're just going to tell you briefly, we know you've been listening to us for a while, that you are vibrational beings in a universe that is vibrational. And so the power of your focus causes you to harness, so to speak, a vibrational frequency. And that frequency is what brings to you manifestations, because law of attraction matches up those frequencies. Over the years, we've offered a lot of different analogies to help you get your thoughts around this vibrational world, because you live in a very see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it world. And what you translate with your physical senses is so satisfying to you, you're really, at least in the beginning, not that excited to hear about the vibrational world that really is what is happening. So we explained to you that your emotions help you to know what your vibrational frequency is. But it's not just what your frequency is. It's not just what your vibrational offering and therefore rendezvousing with things like it is. It's your vibrational frequency in relationship with the frequency of your true heart, with the frequency of your true desire, with the frequency of your most expanded beingness, with the frequency of the source within you. And so here's just a scanty version of how it works. You were source energy before you came into this body, and that larger part of you still remains that source energy being. So you are an extension of that source energy being, which means you have potentially two vibrational frequencies going on all the time. The frequency of who you are on a source level, and the frequency of who you are allowing yourself to be right now in this focused moment. Humans like to refer to that source part as soul. We call it your inner being. Mankind calls it God from time to time, in fact, often. But we want you to realize that that non-physical part of you that did exist before you came into this physical body still exists now that you're in this physical body. And that while you are here in this body, sifting and sorting as you knew you would, in this magnificent variety of a time and space, you are all day, every day, coming to personal is such a good word. Selfish, another really good word. Personal conclusions about what you would prefer. And each time that happens, you send out a rocket, a vibrational rocket. Bear with us because we're trying to make this vibrational tangible enough that you can see it and feel it. So here emanates this rocket which causes an expansion of who you really are because of what you've lived here in this physical body. It also causes a potential for a split in your energy because as you launch a rocket about something that you have now decided that you want, but you have not practiced the vibration enough to be up to speed with it, now there's a vibrational gap within you. It's what we call resistance. It's what contradicted energy is. And it is, in fact, the only reason that you ever feel bad in any way at any time. So as you launch these rockets all day, every day, and you can't stop it. As you launch these rockets, you are expanding. The question that this gathering wants to help you to ask more clearly and to answer is, are you keeping up with your own expansion? So each time you launch one of those rockets, you are causing a pathway to open, a pathway to who you really are. But each time you know what you don't want, each time you beat the drum of not enough money, each time you beat the drum of that is an unacceptable thing that person did, each time you find something to complain about or to push against, you are also carving out a pathway. You're carving out a pathway to what could be future manifestations. So we want you to realize that because of the frequency, the vibrational attitude, you could say, or mood of the source within you, when you feel anger towards someone, you launch a rocket of more love because every subject is really two subjects, wanted and lack of it. That's the way this entire universe is. Whenever you know what you don't want, you know more clearly what you do want. And whenever you know what you do want, you know more clearly what you don't want. So what deliberate creation is identifying the difference between wanted and unwanted and then focusing in the direction of wanted. That really is the simplest example of what deliberate creating is. Your inner being, the source within you, is with you all day, every day. And as you are having conversations or exposure to life, when you know what you don't want and you launch that rocket, the source within you fixates on the wanted, fixates on the expanded. The easiest way, and it may take a little practice on your part, for you to really come to know the existence of that inner being, the existence of that expanded version of you, the easiest way for us to help you know that that part of you does exist and is vividly, actively offering vibrations is by the fact that you have emotions, because your emotions are your indicator, not only of the existence of that part of you, but of your relationship right now, your vibrational relationship right now with that part of you, with that non-physical expanded version. In other words, when you are in a moment of feeling passion, you are so in sync with that part of you that there is no vibrational gap. You are tuned in, tapped in, turned on to that source energy. And the whole of you is focused in this moment, having this conversation, having this experience. When you feel the emptiness of an emotion like anger or fear or depression, when you feel discouragement or even a lighter negative emotion like overwhelmment, those emotions indicate that you're not in perfect sync with who you are. There is a vibrational variance that you are translating through your emotional center. That's how you can most know the existence of that larger part of you, and you're in this moment vibrational relationship with that larger part of you. So we want you to know that once you accept that that part of you exists, and once you begin to pay attention to the way you feel, now you have deliberate creative control of your own experience. Now you can, we're not kidding you at all. Now you can have deliberate control of your own experience. You cannot control what goes on around you in the sense of you don't have deliberate control of other people's experience, but you have deliberate control of your experience and your response to them. Oh, it's such a wonderful thing to have. It's so nice to be so tuned in with this energy of well-being, to this energy of clarity, to this consciousness of clarity. It is such a delicious thing to have tuned yourself little by little to the frequency of the whole of who you are, so that you can then begin to live your life as you've intended here in this physical body. You said, I'll go forth and I'll sift through new, and I'll come to new awarenesses of new desires. And in the beginning, they'll feel odd to me because they're new, and I will not have yet practiced the frequency of them. But I know that the source within me will achieve vibrational alignment with that new desire in the moment that I launch it, so that I will have a touchstone, a vibrational touchstone. I will have a guidance system so that I will know in every moment by the way I feel whether I'm on the path to something wanted, whether I'm on the path to my own expanded beingness, or whether I'm off the path, whether I'm being off the path then on the path to something unwanted. Have you been listening to us for a while? Yes. Bless you. For your patience and your willingness to hear yet another analogy and another analogy and another analogy, wanting to help you to bring to your physical experience, to this powerful moment in time, context of how it all fits together. Not for the sake of the expansion of the universe, because that happens whether you understand the context of it or not. In other words, expansion is happening. Your own expansion is happening. Not for expansion of the universe are we delighted about your willingness to understand this, but for the deliberateness of capturing your own moment by moment joyous experience. It's supposed to feel good to you. You're supposed to vacillate between something that's really fun and something that's interesting, something that's fascinating, something that calls you. In other words, not one of you said, I'll go forth and I'll be the one who suffers. I'll go forth and I'll stir it up and I will deliberately hold myself in vibrational resistance to my own expansion. And so I'll have a lot of struggle and a lot of pain and a lot of grief. And when others look at me, they'll feel better about their lives. None of you said that. What you said was, I'll go forth and I'll come to new awarenesses and I'll feel the vibrational difference in the newness, that I'll find a way to focus until I make it my own vibration. And when I do, then manifestation will come as demonstration, as actualization, as manifestation of the thought that I've been holding.